Now here's the second example. Okay, here's the second example. We have a linear number pattern, but first of all, remember, we do not just assume that it is a linear number pattern, right? So we actually have to confirm that. How do we confirm that? If the way I moved from here to there, it is the same way as I moved from here to there, it's a linear number pattern. And then if it isn't, it means it could be a quadratic, remember, or it could be a geometric. Okay, it's the main two that we work with. So how do we then tackle that? Remember, you just have to do this. You just have to say t2 minus t1, meaning the second one minus the first one. Okay, but someone might ask, what if this pattern does not have a first term? What if maybe it has other, or it starts at position 3? Well, you do the same thing. Okay, you just say the term that will be here minus the term that will be there, and then another term minus another term. As long as the difference is the same, then it is a constant first difference, and then we call it a linear number pattern. So what we're gonna say here, what is the term in the second position? T2. So remember, this is the first position, this is the second position, this is the third position. Remember, there are other positions there. This is n, and then all of these, remember, it is tn. Okay, so now we say the second term is -1 minus, what is the first term? The first term is 1/4. Now you go to your calculator, and then you then say, what is -1 minus 1/4? It gives us -5/4. Okay, then you say t3. It means here I'm gonna write negative, sorry, let's just try to move this a bit down, right? A bit down so that we have space. Nice. And then just use a nice different color there. So it means here we have -5/4. Okay, exactly the answer you get here is the one you write there. Now we go back to this one. We say t3 minus t2. Then in the third position we have -2 1/4, right? Then we say minus -1, because -1, it is the term in the second position. It is your t2, right? So we're gonna say negative 2 1/4, and then we say minus what? -1, right? Then we get the answer is -5/4, and then that answer, it is the one that we write here, -5/4. Right. So what do you realize about how we moved from this one to this one, and how we move from this one to this one? It is the same way. So we say it has a constant first difference, because these are first differences. Okay, so it is a constant first difference. So using that, we now know that it is a linear, and because it is a linear, we then use tn is equals to bn plus c, or we use tn is equals to a plus n minus 1d. Remember, you can get it in both ways, right? Using the first way, I can say my b will then be equal to -5/4, right? Because it is the constant first difference. So we say -5/4 n plus c. Now how do I get c? I substitute, or I take any term with its position. I can take this one, the term which is tn, it's -1, right? It is -1, and then the n, it's 2, which is the position, right? It's 2, and then we say plus c, right? So this would be -5/2 plus c and -1, of which when you say -1 plus 5/2 is then equal to c. Therefore your c should be equal to -1 plus 5/2, it's 1.5, which is 3/2, right? It is 3/2. Therefore tn would be equal to -5/4 n plus 3/2. All right, so that is the general term. Okay, that is the general term. So now how do we get the very same general term but using the grade 12 way? Remember, this is the grade 12 way. You are not allowed to use this as a grade 11 or 10 learner, right? So how do we use the grade 12 way? Well, we're gonna say A is the first term. Remember, the one that starts first, that's your first term. It's 1 over 4. So you're gonna say Tn is equals to 1 over 4, and then you say plus n minus 1. Then what is your D? D, remember, is the same as B, your first difference, constant first difference. So it's negative 5 over 4. All right, now remember, after you're done doing that, then you then say Tn is equals to 1 over 4 plus, you say negative 5 over 4 times n. What is that? That is negative 5 over 4n, right? And then you say negative 5 over 4 times negative 1 is going to be plus 5 over 4. Then you then say, therefore, my Tn is equals to negative 5 over 4n. Then you say, what is 1 over 4 plus 5 over 4? Then it gives you 6 over 4. Okay, so that is your general term. Now when you simplify that 6 over 4, you get 3 over 2. Then that is the very same thing as this one here. So you get the general term for your arithmetic sequence, right? And then please don't forget that this negative, as just a side note, negative 5 over 4, negative 5 over 4, and then 5 over negative 4. Did you know that these things are the same thing? That's a bit of a homework. Go and check them out, right? But that is it for now. Then we're gonna continue and discuss quadratic number patterns.